get their seat and we'll get this going.
Notice it's
Get it to you, Ben.
by the snack
Right
table.
by the.
Oh, there he is. Started just a little too soon. All right, good afternoon, everybody. Another great turnout. We got another full room. Of course, the students help do that, but we appreciate you coming every week. That's awesome. We always start out, first of all, thanking again everybody for showing up. We appreciate that. And we're going to get right into it and turn it over to Adam LeBlanc from our crime analyst office.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Constable LeBlanc. I'm the crime analyst here. And as I do every month, I'm going to go through a quick presentation of some statistics of what's going on in 43 Division in February. As always, I'll flash up our community map here. This shows our designated communities in 43 Division and our representation here at the CPLC members on the medical communities they represent. Starting off with traffic. So this is our collision map. What this is where you see the dots is where the collisions occurred. And as I started a couple months ago, I put on a heat overlay on there. It's called a heat map. Where the color gets more intense is where the larger the problems is. So if you remember last month, there's kind of a little bit. This is more usually on a more often basis. Although we do have a larger hospital usually on one side more, so I imagine there's probably some traffic here throughout the month in that area. A map like this is shown to our superintendent, and he uses this map to dictate what enforcement we're going to do in the upcoming weeks to try and target where the biggest problems are.
So this week, as you can see, there's a issue there right at Lawrence and Morningside. So we're going to target that general area, and the target is going to be public safety. So as it relates to highway traffic act. So anything that's out there, highway traffic act, obviously that's a signalized intersection. In fact, there's a couple of signalized intersections in that area. So we're going to be looking at that there. We'll be looking at distracted driving, so people on their cell phones, speeders, people coming in and out of the plazas in ways that would be unlawful. So we're going to be spending a lot of our free time in that area enforcing the highway traffic act in various areas.
Moving on, our second traffic map here. So this one is collisions versus enforcement. So the heat portion of the map is the same heat as before, the collisions for the month, and the black crosses are an overlay of where all the tickets in the division related. And as you can see, like most of the time, the concentration of tickets is usually our breakdowns have been down quite a bit. We're doing pretty good in this enforcement sector within these 7 major crime indicators. On this one map, the one thing I do want to draw your attention to is these red dots up here. To a couple of residential during the day. So residential entries up there, and if you see a little graphic put down there, just the knocking. This is just a reminder for people when if you are home during the day, keep aware of what's going on in your neighborhood. If you see something suspicious, let us know. And if someone's knocking at your door, acknowledge it. If for some reason you don't want to answer it because you're scared you want to open the door, that just at least acknowledge that someone's there, because that's what these guys will do. They'll go around and knock on door to door to door. When they find one where no one answers, they'll wait a while and then they'll break into the residence. North of us, the 42 and north, they have been having a lot of these this year. So it hasn't come into our division. It came in for a bit, but it left. We didn't have any in the past week and a half, so hopefully it's not going to creep down here, but it has been happening, so we want people to be aware of that.
And if I may, Adam, we hammer this message every month in these meetings, and that is to call that in. You guys are your community members. You know the person, the car that doesn't seem to fit into that neighborhood, that doesn't seem to fit into your community. I can't tell you how many times when officers from my major crime unit and our primary response canvass the neighborhood where we've had a residential break and enter, and we go and we knock on doors to see if anybody saw something suspicious, and probably just about 90% of the time, one of the neighbors did see a car that they didn't recognize as belonging to the neighborhood, idling at the curb for a long time, or maybe some suspicious people, walking up to the houses. And they didn't think to report that at the time, whereas if they, they know it's out of the ordinary, they know that it's a bit strange. And if they would have phoned the police, 808-2222 even, if that's the number you would go, that gives us the heads up. Maybe we get there in time to prevent that break and enter from occurring. Maybe we get there in time to arrest them if they did get into the house. Again, we drive this home every single week, and yet there still seems to be a message that doesn't get heard quite clearly, and that is, if you see something that doesn't fit, that seems suspicious, don't hesitate to report. Don't hesitate to phone it. Thanks.
I'm sorry, just a little bit, sorry, CP24 announcing today, York region, which is north of us, and the top end of Toronto, which is 42 Division. They're announcing that this major arrests. These are organized gangs that go into the areas, and it's just like fishing, and I'm not a fishing person, but if I'm successful in this area catching big trout, I'm coming back to do some more fishing. And when we say that we have not had, as our statistics show, major events such as York and the 42 Division, which was even out on CP24 over the weekend, we aren't getting hit like that, and I like to think it's because of your efforts and our efforts in combating it, simply by saying, I'm not interested when somebody comes to the door knocking, and so they know there's somebody on the other side. We're not going to go in there. And then again, if they find an entire neighborhood where they've hit two and it's been pretty good, they're coming back tomorrow. They're going to try for more until we eventually put a stop to them. So a simple thing like, hey, I'm home, go away, isn't enough. And calling us, they obviously don't like going places where they get arrested, and we're pretty good at it.
Moving on to the next map, robberies. Our robberies came down a little bit, Trevor. I don't know if you remember in January, our robberies are up for the year compared to last year. Although not too alarming, because we've had such drastic reductions. The actual amount of occurrences has started to come back in line to what we're used to. When you see the numbers don't 100% reflect it, because the way statistics stats get wants us to get these is if you have a robbery, there's multiple victims. So one robbery occurs with three people, or rob. We're seeing most right now youth street level robberies. That's what's pushing our numbers a little bit higher than we used to. When we move on, stolen autos, not too much to report here. Pretty much what I see on a monthly basis. Fairly random. They're still going down. They're actually down a little bit more than last year. Yeah. It's not a very large problem here in the division. Lots of older model vehicles that are getting stolen. We haven't seen any newer model vehicles getting stolen, which is good. So we see newer model vehicles getting stolen. That's indicative of organized crime, because they're the ones that are able to defeat the new technology. So just a couple sporadic across the division for that area. And then moving on to the major crime statistics, I changed the lookup for this a little bit. I put a graph on top of it to give it a little bit more of a visual effect. And as you see, we go across, most of our major crime statistics are doing pretty good. At this time of year, when the numbers are still pretty low for some of the stats, it's better to look at the difference in numbers than percentage. For example, sexual assault, it says it's up at 6%. That's really a difference of one occurrence, 17 to 18. Assaults are coming down by 9%. That's pretty good. That's almost 30 occurrences less. Robberies, like I said, it's up a little bit more than we'd like to see, but that is starting to even out. We haven't had very much in March at all so far, which is good. And then break and enters, large decrease in break and enters, especially even over the past 2 years, the decreases there, which is good to see. Auto theft is down, and theft overs is usually a pretty small number year round. This is pretty hard crime to prevent, but it's not quite a bit right now, but that's probably
one of the main robbery significant in that that have driven up our statistics a little bit are school robberies. So it's people leaving a school and they're being robbed by their people that they know that some of them are even in the same class, so it's not difficult for us to solve it. But whatever money they have or whatever cell phones they have, that's the vast majority of the data that's driving that up, is those youth on youth after school, going home from school, or lunchtime type robberies. They're serious crimes, and they're very time consuming for us as far as preparing the cases for court. However, it is not, Joe Citizen walking to the mall and being accosted. It's not that type. These are youth on youth, and they know each other. School related.
And just one last slide, a little bit of a crime prevention tip. I do this up all usually around this time of year. So this has started up. I've already read a couple of occurrences of people trying to do this year. More often than not, which is nice to see this year, people are calling us in and reporting saying, someone tried to scam me, but I knew what was going on, so I don't have a phone on them, but I want to report that it is happening. So it's looking like the victim count is going down, but they're still definitely very active in this New Canada scam, where people are calling from New Canada saying you owe taxes for different reasons, and so money and transfer that you're going to be arrested. So just be aware of that. There's plenty of information on the internet about that too. You can look at it all day long. And that's it for me.
Thanks, Ed. Appreciate that. This is the point in the meeting where we like to open the floor up to concerns you may have. In the last meeting regarding, it seemed to be basically the same area down at Cliff Crest by the Cliff Crest Plaza. The first part was some parking within the plaza. We know there's some construction going on there, which kind of makes it a bit of a mess as far as traffic flow. I guess that was also being added to that problem, where people parking in the fire routes and things like that. I can tell you, community response unit officers have done numerous patrols in that plaza and haven't come across infraction-wise very, very much in the way of non-compliance. I would encourage, if you see that continuing, ultimately it is one of those, you see it, you report it, there's a good chance it'll get addressed by parking enforcement. And for those that are interested, Parking Enforcement East, if you're looking for a parking complaint to be rectified, our phone number is 416-808-6600. And I can give that to you again after the first portion of the meeting here. So in the numerous patrols that we went through, we didn't see the fire routes being blocked. It is a very congested plaza, again, because of the construction, and it does get a little gridlocked, but for the most part, we saw compliant parking. The second part of that concern from the community was there was a crossing guard there. It's a relatively new position for the crossing guard at McCowan and Kingston Road. And it was a concern that the crossing guard was actually encouraging people to cross when there wasn't enough time left on the little hand that tells you either proceed or not to proceed. So my crossing guard coordinator, Constable Brenda Fig, spent some time just doing some and then spoke with the crossing guard. Ultimately, and I think even Julie was down there a couple of times as well. I'm happy to say that we saw the crossing guard doing the job is exactly as it was intended to be. Any instances of invade or anything like that. In fact, she was very compliant, very polite and professional. The day we still had a word with the crossing guard, letting the guard know there's a concern from the community, make sure that you're giving enough time for the people to cross, and the crossing guard was very receptive to it. So I think, again, if you make observations like that, by all means, you can phone us. You can phone my office directly, or again, you can bring it up in a meeting in places like this. Go look at it, and it seemed like everything was being addressed as it should be. The topics that were brought up last meeting. So we'll open the floor to anybody who has a concern or something they want to raise to our attention.
Except just one little quick addition, the City of Toronto Transportation Services were going to go and look at, there's a concern of a stop sign being blocked there, the construction. Okay. So they're just going to add another opinion to it.
Thanks, Paul. So do we have anybody from the community that has a concern?
I want to mention something about a scam we were talking about earlier. There is also one that calls and they says, "Can you hear me? Can you hear me clearly?" And he says, "Yes." They just have to hang up, and from then they go out to your account and everything, and they say they scam you like that.
So they're looking for the word yes? Is that,
Yes, I can hear you.
okay. Appreciate that.
And that's it. It's been
I thought you were going to tell us about the latest trend this year is romance scams.
Why would Rudy tell us? Rudy, is there anything you should?
Pretty full room. All I can say is don't be shy. I mean, I know it can be a little uncomfortable. You don't necessarily have to stand. Somebody in the back? Okay.
This is my first meeting here. I've been in the community almost 20 years now. I belong, used to live in the Aboriginal and now moved away from that area or whatever. I have a few years that really coming to me personally now, and I need to figure out how and what about how it can be addressed. First off is the young kids that are running or walking at lunchtime or after school that are being approached by these young men. My granddaughter was approached 3 weeks ago by a young man and said, "Hey, sex." My granddaughter is 11. And they have enough sense to go back into the store, have them call the police right away. They attended. But this isn't the first time that these kids are being approached.
What did he say to them?
Hey, sexy.
Oh,
She's 11 years old, you know, so she's winter coat,
Yeah.
boots, whatever. But it's a teenager, young adult from the area approaching these kids saying, "Hey, sexy," trying to lure, in my eyes, trying to lure them into whatever. You know, I know that prostitution in this area is bad. There's a few girls that have been lured into that already. So I'm wondering, where you're at as far as police presence during after school, lunch hour, whatever, when the young kids are out and about. Yeah, she's 11, they go out across the street, you know, grab the patty and pop and come back to school. You know, but I mean, I'm just wondering where, first off, you know, what's.
Okay.
okay.
Yep, I can speak to, I'll say two things. I know that into Constable Rutledge, I'm glad that you came to the meeting. Monica and I had a discussion about a month ago, maybe a little longer, saying that the Aboriginal community, that they were being represented. So I encourage them, because this is the format, this is the forum for like yourself to come forward and let us know. I like what I heard about the first part that you said, that when, I guess it was your niece, where this male approached her and said that. I think I heard correctly, you said they reported it to the police.
Yeah, they ran right to the back of the store and phone, and it was, you know, police came right away.
Okay, perfect. I love hearing that, because that's one of the things that I will speak to any of the communities on, and that is we can't act upon what we don't know. And ultimately, I know that there's been I would like to think an improving, healthy relationship. I know that Randy has been in that community a little bit more than he was in the past. Monica has reached out to me and said, we'd like to try to strengthen the relationship between the Aboriginal community and ourselves. So I appreciate you coming today. And a little bit further to your concern about, especially the girls in prostitution. Right now, we currently in 43 Division have a project on the go. It's specifically addresses human trafficking, trying to lure girls into that trade. Phone number after this, that if you have information to relate to that, we have officers dedicated to that 7 days a week. Exactly. They're very complex problems. Victims who don't see themselves as victims, you know, these young girls that all of a sudden start getting attention. It's very complex, but we've been working on this project since late last fall, and we've had a lot of good results. 99% of the positive results come from community members just like yourself, letting us know about that stuff. So if you can stick around, we usually do a 2-half thing. You stick around and get you a phone number that you can phone to speak to an officer specifically about that problem.
I appreciate you bringing it up. The human
Absolutely.
trafficking is a real problem in our division. I'm talking about men like probably the gentleman that you were describing, trying to befriend as young as they can, get them into a relationship, and then they start prostituting them. working on, this is the second time we've had this project on the, before that we had another project that we ran at a corporate level. So we've done 3 projects in the last 2.5, 3 years on this particular issue, and it's an ongoing issue. In fact, today in our crime management meeting, we decided that we're not going to put an end to this project because it was coming up to the time. We're going to leave it open-ended because it's such a problem. It's something that we're committed to trying to address, but we need the information that you're providing for us today. So that's very helpful to us because it's that partnership with the community that allows us to successfully address these issues. So we are getting great help from the community, and we have seen some great success to work at it.
Sorry, I didn't read you speak. Go ahead.
Just one other point, if you have a specific report number or date and time, there should be a contact with us within our respective offices, and I can maybe get you some more follow-up on that specific incident. We also have school officers that are around, some of them are designated specifically, and ones are rotating. So depending on the situation, we have school officers that can do their follow along with our county response officers, so we can talk to you after the specific.
I say we have some pretty successful initiatives in Fort Division. My superintendent talked about community initiatives. They're not successful because the police involved, they're successful because the community basically took over. And while you were talking, Angela Brackett and Dennis, they kind of mentioned something to me. Do you want to say something? Because we're kind of going around to different communities. It's Angela's initiative, going around to different communities. We're expanding on it. Sounds like that would be perfect. Do you want to say something?
What I wanted to say was the same things that are created that was happening. There was the sex thing, and there was also that they'll hurt their parents and also to scare. And yes, the police need help, so that the lasting effect is the community members taking over and taking control of their community by working together. When we calm back down, it's just totally eliminating the rest of the stuff that's going on, because we had it in the buildings, prostitutions and service work and these are our community. So we are able, Randy and I have been working and doing that, and we're able to go around and we're doing, it's called Empower for Change. Like teaching the community to do the same thing that we did and we're now and have that effective change.
I follow Facebook and I see your program all the time on Facebook, which is really good. And I'm thinking, okay, this is a good idea actually for the Aboriginal community. We have such a large community over at Kingston and Galloway. There's I think 160 units. Most of them are delegated to Aboriginal. So I think something like that would be ideal to help. I mean, it is only a short walk. You know, it's like a 5-minute walk to school, but it's still, you've got that space between Maplewood and Dumont, and then you have that space between the school and the crosswalk. The kids, I would like to hope that most of the kids are, streetwise, but I mean, some of them are going to, wander off. But with that in hand, this is another thing that I'm dealing with personally as well myself. I'm looking at distribution of tenants. And I'm not gonna try to listen here. My daughter experimented with this on several occasions. And I'm like, why? Like, where are you getting this crap? You're 16 years old. You're coming home totally like she doesn't know who she is. She forgets, and I'm like, how do you even get home when you're on this? But I sat down with her when she came home, and she was hiding from her that I'm having a file. But the deal is who they are, where they are, and she said, well, she's a lot of them go to supply, but they don't catch them at school. Well, you know what? They're not going to catch them at school. I know that. But I mean, it's the Xanax is going crazy, and I'm worried about her coming home one day or not coming home because she's gotten Xanax with fentanyl. Fentanyl cocaine now is over here. And I'm like, why? This is drugs, and it's the drugs that are feeding these kids that they start grooming these children, these young children. And getting them into comfortable, get them comfortable with this person to start prostituting them out.
Well, you can talk to Wendy, and we're more than able to come in and share with you our successes and what we have done to make that difference with our community. And we've seen the effective change. We see the change with everyone else. And that's why we want to go around and just teach the same thing to others. And like I said, it's good for the community members to get involved. Because we have the police, so there's just so much they can handle. But when the community stands up against these things, you see that the effect and the lasting effect of it, it's more empowering. And we're able to come in and to help you guys so you can contact him and
We'll stay after then, we'll stay after and chat then, if that's cool, yeah.
The other thing is, within the Aboriginal community complex, there's, as we call it, we always used to see police presence. They used to come through with the horses, they used to come through with the ATVs, they would come there with their carts, the kids would go in and see them, you know, get in there and get comfortable. Well, for some reason, and it's not your guys' fault, I think some of it has to do with the maintenance, or sorry, the management maybe, is stopping this. But the kids are, they're afraid because 15 living there for 1 or 3 weeks, whatever it is, they would come back on their shift and come through. And we don't see that anymore. We don't see them coming in and trying to, you know, communicate with the kids there.
Okay.
We see them at the school. We see Monica's at the school. We see Randy at the house of teachers. But I mean, to come out and actually see the kids and get comfortable and whatever they're there, we don't see that.
Well, I can tell you, and I can speak to, I mean, you make a lot of different points. And I think first and foremost, you came to the right place and you're relaying that information to us. I hope I'm not stepping out of bounds, but I would encourage you to become a member of the CPLC so you can represent your community and bring any new concerns, but these concerns forward. Adam, when I think it was one of the first slides we show, is representation from all the different communities within 43 Division. I would love to have you as a regular member to come and keep us up to date on the things that are going on. Because ultimately, until Monica and I talked about a month ago, and again, I hope you take this the right way, we weren't aware that there's a major problem in over on Kingston Road in the Aboriginal community, right? Because ultimately, you have to understand part of what we do in intelligence-led policing is we put our resources, keep trying to look around here. we put our resources to where we know whether it's crime or disorderly conduct is taking place. Sometimes that's through arrests and crimes actually taking place. Sometimes it's through our community complaint program where we'll receive phone calls and they'll let us know about kids doing drugs or whatever the case may be. Very quiet from that end of it. So I think you're making the right first step. And ultimately, if I can encourage you to come monthly and let us know. But there's other avenues too, and I want to make sure you know that before you leave today. There's all kinds of reporting venues, Crime Stoppers, so that can be anonymous. My office follows up. We have a community complaint program where you can phone in and talk to Ann and give us the information, and we'll follow up on it. That's my office that looks after all of that. Ultimately, if we don't know, and today you're making us aware of it, if we don't know, we're going to take our resources, because I'm sure you watch the news, our resources are getting cut all the time. We have less officers and less ability to be everywhere. So we're going to take our resources and put them where we know, both statistically and by the intelligence that we have, this is where we're going to have an impact, because this is where it's taking place. So you let us know that there's a problem. And as far as the relationship, I want to say it's an easy fix. To me, it is. It's a matter of letting my people know that we have people in the community want to reach out and develop a partnership. We're all about that. So I hope they really strongly consider becoming a member. But if not, you have all these other avenues. Randy as your liaison officer. Monica has access to me, no problem whatsoever. You can phone me directly. And then again, I go through Crime Stoppers and all the other ways of reporting the issues that you have.
So I just have a question. How many actual Aboriginal liaison officers are actually in 43 Division and 40 Division here?
Yeah, I can't speak to 42. I don't know.
No.
Every division is required to have one.
Go speak with them too.
Every division is required to have one. So they'll have at least one. I don't know who it is up there, but.
Okay, is it not a possibility to look into having maybe more than one because of the large Aboriginal population that we do have at Gabriel?
Absolutely.
You know, our daycare there is daycare as well.
Yep.
They have a drop-in center there for youth that go in, they utilize the drop-in center. They do have programs there run every day, pretty much for the youth. But I mean, like, one man can only do so much. I don't know, they're cheating, I don't know all the time. You're ready to teach. It's just, I think maybe because of our amount of people that we have in the community, I look at the possibility of trying to get another liaison in there.
We did have another one. We have had more than one in the past, but unfortunately that officer moved on to another area in the service, but it is certainly something we'll look at. One of the realities that we have to live with, unfortunately though, is our ever decreasing numbers of officers. So when I first came to this division about 5 years ago, I had about 25 officers in each platoon. Now I have 19. So my numbers have decreased, and those numbers are going to continue to decrease because the city has deemed it a priority to bring the police service budget, keep it at $1 billion or in and around that amount. So they're trying to modernize us. As you know, you'll have read it in the newspapers, you'll have seen it on television. They're trying to modernize the way we police. Part of that modernization is they are reducing the amount of human resources that we have, because that's our biggest funding challenge for the city of Toronto. So the reality is that I've got less and less people that I can move. So I would love to just say, yeah, I'll move somebody there, but if I move somebody there, I got to take them from somewhere else. So it's finding that area where I can take them from that won't impact public safety and put them in your area. So it's a challenge for me. It's a real problem. So I'm not going to flippantly tell you, yeah, I'll move somebody. I will give that some thought.
The majority of your score first is 100% coverage allowed to get up to like a 50-50 balance. And some are so I mean, it still is a mixed community, but it doesn't matter. I mean, you're still in that community. You still have a large number of Aboriginal kids there. And it's like, yeah, you know, I was at the hospital for one of my daughters. And while I was there was 2 kids from her grade that were there as a fentanyl, Xanax overdose. 2 of them have emerged the same night. And it's like, this is only the beginning.
Yeah.
This is only the beginning.
Okay, well, and again, as the superintendent said, we can't make a promise that we're going to ship a police officer, but I would suggest to you that a very viable compromise is my community response unit is more than willing to come into that community and engage with you. Just it's two-way conversation, it's two-way communication, right? So I can make that happen. We can do some liaison, not just through Randy, but through the other officers in my community response unit, and we'll take a look at that.
I think what happened is, because when I was there 18 years ago, you know, I was sort of the first generation of Gabriel Dumont, but now we're seeing our children moving there and becoming the second generation. And when we were there, it was all right. But now, I mean, it's getting worse. And they're at that point where they're doing the dealing, they're doing, you know, they're continuing the distributing. And it's like, this isn't what it is. And it's, management doesn't seem to be doing too much about it.
And that's where, again, like I say, I appreciate you coming today to let us know about it. I can encourage you to continue to do so. And then the problems that we know about, we address by putting our resources there.
Yeah, I really want to see if I can bring some more. Negative. I mean, it's okay, you know, we're not there to take you to jail, but to take on the back.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any other concerns? Any other community issues that need to be brought to our attention? Going once, going twice?
Can I just say, one of the greatest keys to the success of Mornell, and I'm not trying to blow smoke here at Angela, it's her commitment to that community that has allowed that whole program in Mornell to really take off and has made a huge difference in the community. It's not only the police. Yes, Randy is there, and Randy has done great work in that area, as has other sections of the division here. The crew and the NSU have done great work. However, it's the community commitment to that community. It's Anna and other people that was commitment to that community. So please don't think that inviting us in to create a safe walk in the morning for the kids will fix all the problems. It won't. We need that community input, that community commitment that we see in Mornell, the benefits from in Mornell. We need that in the community that you're speaking about. So it's the community commitment that we really need to see as the foundation for any success. So I thank you for coming. I thank you for raising those issues. And the community commitment that we do see in Mornell, so that we can work on successes. Thank you.
Remember the signs before you leave. It's going to go around.
It's right here.
Oh, okay. Pass it, keep it, don't take it home at home. Sign it so we know who is here and who might need help, et cetera, et cetera. Julie and Paul. Perfect.
Just as you're setting up.
Presentation. I see.
Hi, guys. Julie's going to be doing most of the talking today. She wanted to do some training, but just want to remind you on a couple of things. Mention about break and enters, prior mention to environmental design. Julie and I are available just about any time to be a place if you're in the area, and go through some common sense and rollback steps on preventing break and enters. We can't say that it'll never happen because man meet the man to do it. What I can say is none of the houses we've ever touched and been related to have had a break and enter. So we can go that far. The other thing,
Just putting yourself out on the line.
Yes, just jinx yourself, but okay.
our attorneys, don't forget we talked about those. We'll talk about those more next week. Please don't forget. Training on it yesterday, and a lawyer there with some expertise was saying, if you have to contest your power of attorney, and then it'll have to be no problem whatsoever, just going through court, completely straightforward to do the documentation of $10,000 to get it changed. Actually, she finds out cases that were being contested that were up well up in the six figures, so please choose wisely. God, Julie, you gotta go.
As you guys know, Paul and I often get assigned what we call elder abuse occurrences. And I think a lot of the time when we think of elder abuse, we kind of have this, mental picture of, physical injuries and, something very terrible happening. But it's often what Paul and I find when we are out in the community, it's really not that cut and dry. A lot of things are a lot more gray, if you will. So it's not to one extreme or to the other. So Randy and I were actually out in Durham region where we did some training, and the Ontario government produced some videos, which I think are excellent. It is just, we'll watch a video, and just as you're watching this lady, see if you can pick up on things that you would call red flags, or things where if this was your loved one, you think, just not sure that that's right. And then we're going to watch two responses from her friend. We learned what Paul and I, or the occurrences we see, are really just the tip of the iceberg as far as what's happening. So we would ask that, folks in the community, it's the police, we only get just a small number, but if you folks can keep your eyes open and again, get more in tune to these red flags, and the more we can see reported, or at least brought to our attention so we can try and help, that would be great. And
It's not on mute though, is it? Julie, behind you, there's a red button. It's in mute.
So it's never be home.
Are you sure to be comfortable, isn't it?
Yeah, there's plenty of them on. Besides, your granddaughter will never be home. You won't take them. I don't know what you're doing with them.
I'm sure you're going to find another job in no time.
You might watch a movie. By the way, your bank card was rejected at the gas station today. It was really embarrassing.
What are you talking about?
What filled my car and it wouldn't go through? Must be overdrawn or something. Better hope your check comes in this week. You're not going to get your prescriptions refilled. What are you doing?
I can't get used to the damp downstairs.
Oh, try another blanket. Let me boil it up here.
You know, I would have wished you would have asked me before you moved me into the basement.
Why does it have to be on my back, Mom? It's too dark and dingy down there. I get depressed, you know that. I play your puzzles down there as well as you can up here.
What's for dinner, Grams? I'm starving.
I was a
I think we don't have to go through them all, but I think we can all start to see how sometimes we as a police, when we respond to stuff, it's not black and white. Is this a criminal matter? Is somebody being arrested? Is somebody going to jail here? No. But could it fall under the terms of abuse? Absolutely. So that's why we're asking, just to try and look at things through a different lens or a different set of eyes. So the next video we're going to watch, and this is, again, all of us learning, is this lady, this mom, talking to one of her friends. Just in how you interact with people, and I know Randy and I learned the same thing at the training, just in what your response is, you're either opening up for more information, or you're kind of shutting that person down by, maybe sharing your own opinions and
How are things going with your son being home? He's having such a hard time with it. He and his daughter moved upstairs on the weekend. And where does that leave you? In the spare room.
In the basement?
Oh, I am sorry, but that is going too far. You still cater to his every whim when what he really needs is a swift kick in the back. He's never going to leave that couch. Never mind, look for a job.
So again, just quickly, if somebody, and whether we're talking about this or other things, or you notice something in your community or among one of your friends or maybe in your community, and if you're aggressive, if you're not listening, you might not encourage that person to continue to share and really open up with what's happening. Maybe it's food for thought on something that might be a better response.
How are things going with your son being home? I feel badly for him. I'm a bit. Upstairs on the weekend. And where does that leave you? In the spare room. Your life has changed so much. Are you okay?
That's it, just stuff, this is a lot of the training actually we do on our yearly police training. A lot of this big stuff with how to communicate better with people to get them to share information, so.
Thank you. Very sad though. Sad, yeah, I could cry for that. So, what's that?
Don't cry, because with Todd will start.
I'll just
It's
go.
I'm
I'm already halfway there. Too late. That's the cry.
It's sad. Report now. Can you handle that?
No.
Okay. Superintendent Fenton, do you have something?
No, I think we've spoken through the
Everything?
crime data.
Director,
No, I'm
you're
good.
good to go? And Jennifer, you okay? And Detective
Don't ask me.
Tim Bates.
But I think Randy's got something.
Okay, Randy.
I'll remember that.
Stay with us.
So just, I'm not going to do any big presentation or anything. Angela had to leave. They have a state-law program at 3 p.m., so they had to leave. Des, I'm writing it down. She's been working with Angela for a couple months now, social service worker, placement student from Centennial College, and she was going to speak today the community outreach and the second chance program, which is now located at Mornell. That's what program. Thank you very much for coming and representing the Aboriginal community. Kind of, to touch on what my supervisor said. This whole transformational task force that you're hearing about in the news, that's kind of what that is. It's doing more with less officers, but it's not that the officers have to do more work. It's getting the community more involved and having a voice that way. So that's kind of the way the service is going. I think it's going to be. We have enough success stories that we can look at that and see what works and what didn't. Have a couple more people. I'm not going to embarrass me. I'm not going to embarrass everybody, but they saw our posts on social media and they came here today. Thank you very much for doing that. Thank you very much, Scarborough Centennial College students for coming. And Charles, can I just call you out? I'm going to embarrass you. And again, I'm not going to take too much time, but you came here today. He didn't come last time. He spent some time with me in the summer. He's an amazing guy. He's got that smile. I don't have to tell you. Just look at the smile. You can see how sweet what it got. But his uniform has changed a little bit. What we would call what my staff sergeant would wear, because that's what he's now. Can you just kind of explain, take 30 seconds, what is everything in the uniform mean?
So basically, I'm a part of the drill team. I try to get involved in everything that goes on in our school, and try to get new students like my friends here get involved in stuff. This is from the drill team. I came into IC for my platoon, and this is for my classroom, for most of my classrooms. The staff sergeant, I take the leadership role, and we get the opportunity to show off in our school. It's a really good idea to get to know people and get in them and explain what they can do to achieve their goals in our school. So that's it.
He's probably going to be my staff sergeant one day. And just loudest laugh in the room. And you know what? Would you come up for a section where we need to speak about something that's happening in our division as well?
Yes, so I'll be quick. On Wednesday, March 22nd, the Alzheimer's Society is co-hosting an open house with the Scarborough Center for Health Communities. It's taking place between 3:30 and 7:30. We'll have refreshments, we'll have a light dinner. It'll be a chance for people to get to know the community services in the area, so please feel free to come out. I've got some flyers here. If you have any questions, my number is on the bottom of the flyer. Okay, hope to see you there. Thanks.
We're going to put those flyers on our social media sites, and we're looking to have some police presence there, auxiliary, and maybe even from our officers from our crew and see stuff like that's pretty much it for me. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thanks,
Okay, that's it.
Okay, so that concludes the first portion of the meetings where we need to take a break. You can help yourself to snacks there. And then the second part is where the CPLC members actually.
Nothing, Reg? Nothing? Reg, you normally got something.
Anything else?
Nothing?